யுனெஸ்கோ நிறுவனம் கல்வி, உயர்கல்வி, தொழிற்கல்வி அமைச்சு மற்றும் தெற்காசிய ஆசிரியர் அபிவிருத்தி மையம் ஆகியவற்றிற்கு இடையில் யுனெஸ்கோவின் கேட்டகரி 2 சென்டர் C2C எனும் அந்தஸ்தை தெற்காசிய ஆசிய அபிவிருத்தி மையம் நிறுவனத்திற்கு புதுப்பிக்கும் நோக்கிலான முத்தரப்பு உடன்படிக்கைக்கு சாதிடும் நிகழ்வு இன்று அலரி மாளிகையில் கல்வி, உயர்கல்வி மற்றும் தொழிற்கல்வி அமைச்சரும் பிரதமருமான கலாநிதி ஹரிணி அமரசூரிய தலைமையில் நடைபெற்றது. இந்நிகழ்வின் போது ஆசிரியர் அபிவிருத்தி துறைக்கு வாழ்நாள் முழுவதும் வழங்கக்கூடிய சிறப்புமிக்க கல்விசார் பங்களிப்பையும் ஆராய்ச்சி மற்றும் அறிவுசார் தலைமைத்துவத்தில் ஆற்றிய முக்கிய பங்கையும் பாராட்டி தெற்காசிய ஆசிரியர் அபிவிருத்தி மையத்தின் முதலாவது டீச்சர் டெவலப்மெண்ட் அண்ட் அவுட் சார் கௌரவ பேராசிரியர் லக்ஷ்மண் சமரநாயக் அவர்களுக்கு பிரதமர் கலாநிதி ஹரிணி அமரசூரிய அவர்களினால் வழங்கப்பட்டது. இந்த நிகழ்வில் உரையாற்றிய பிரதமர் கலாநிதி ஹரிணி அமரசூரிய அவர்கள் ஆசிரியர் கல்வியையும் ஆசிரியர்களையும் பலப்படுத்துவது இன்றியமையாதது என்பதை வலியுறுத்தியதோடு வேகமாக மாற்றமடைந்து வரும் தொழில்நுட்ப உலகின் தேவைகளுக்கு ஆசிரியர்கள் திறன்பட முகம் கொடுக்கக்கூடிய வித அவசியமான மாற்றங்களுக்கு தங்களை தயார்படுத்திக் கொள்வதற்கும் தேவையான ஆதரவு வழங்கப்பட வேண்டும் என்றும் குறிப்பிட்டுள்ளார்.
It is a very great honor to address this gathering today on this historic occasion as we witness the signing of the tripartite agreement between the Government of Sri Lanka, UNESCO and the South Asia Centre for Teacher Development. This is not just a ceremonial milestone, it is a moment for the reaffirmation of our commitment, of our national commitment to education and of our enduring partnership with UNESCO and of our shared belief that the future of our nation rests in the hands of our educators. The South Asian Centre for Teacher Development was established with a mandate to address the professional development of teachers and teacher educators. This mandate recognizes that teaching is not a static profession, that it is something that is constantly evolving and deeply connected with the social and political context within which it operates, and therefore needs to be responsive to the transformations that take place within that context. However, as we all know, Sactd went through a hugely challenging period, as was described by our former ambassador, who played a pivotal role in ensuring that it did not lose its status. And I believe that happened because it lost sight of its vision, it lost sight of what it was set up for and its mandate, and basically floundered in trying to understand what this institution should be doing. So today is particularly important because we've managed, through the hard work of its board, of its supporters, of the UNESCO Sri Lanka Commission and partnership extended by everyone connected to this, that the UNESCO Category 2 Centre status is confirmed and renewed. This is indeed an important moment, and it reflects the confidence of UNESCO and and our regional partners in our institutions, our expertise and our vision. There is no doubt, I think all of us in this room are in complete agreement that if we are to be serious about what our education system delivers, then investing in teachers, in teacher educators is critical. This is the main resource we have for any kind of transformative journey that we undertake in education. at this moment, there is also no doubt that education itself, like many other sectors of our society, of our nations, is undergoing critical reform, and facing critical challenges due to the changes taking place in technology and to shifting geopolitical conditions. Certainly, the technological innovation and changes that are taking place at a pace that we can hardly keep up with means that our educational institutions, our educators really need support to understand the impact of these changes, adapt and get ready to make sure that we protect education from the adverse impacts of some of these technological innovations, that we adapt where necessary, and that we incorporate some of these changes, and that we are ready to make sure that our young people, our learners, are not left behind in this rapidly changing context. This is of critical importance. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And we also understand that with this rapid digital transformation that is taking place, there also is a huge need for digital literacy, digital awareness in the ethics of it, in the social aspects of it, in the boundaries. And I think it was Professor Lakshman Samaranayaka who mentioned, or one of you who mentioned, that ultimately we need to remember that human intelligence is at the core of this, and that whatever innovation, whatever transformation ultimately has to impact on humans and has to be for the betterment of humans. So there is no doubt that teacher education and the strengthening of teacher educators is a critically important issue for our region. And it is a matter of great pride for Sri Lanka that we have such an institution that can offer this service, serve as a center that brings the region together on an issue that is of, I am very sure, of shared concern across our region, and be able to offer this space as a site where our experts, our regional experts, can come together, develop what is required, and offer this to our region. This kind of center that facilitates regional cooperation and collaboration is also of critical importance at a time when I think we need to strengthen regional cooperation more and more in the changing geopolitical situation. I think one thing that has been driven home to all of us is the importance of regional collaboration, of maintaining those partnerships strongly, because that is of critical importance, not just in education but in every other sector as well. So Sri Lanka is particularly, I think, well positioned to serve as a center for this kind of collaboration for the region. So this is also, I think, that is something that we can celebrate and something that we can really be proud of. However, I also want to, as the Minister of Education, reiterate this point which I have been making to Sactd ever since I came into this position and came into contact with Sactd. And that is, you are a regional center. I think this is the distinction that we really need to maintain. One of the things that we are facing, one of the challenges that we are facing in Sri Lanka right now is the duplication of activities by multiple organizations working on the same issue without talking to each other. Right? So I can see many of you here nodding your heads when I'm saying this, because you have all experienced this. So one of the things our government is trying to do is to avoid duplication, to promote collaboration, and to promote dialogue between these institutions, and to come up with common policies that can be implemented collectively. I am particularly insistent that we do this when it comes to education and when it comes to teacher education and teacher continuous professional CPD, continuous professional development. Because when we did an assessment of the activities undertaken by the Ministry of Education and its related institutions many months ago, maybe almost as soon as the government change happened, one of the things that we discovered was that our teachers get plenty of teacher education. In fact, if we count the number of hours which they spend on being trained, either we have to have the best teachers in the world, or there's a problem that the teachers are not in schools but are actually being educated somewhere, so there's no education happening because the teachers are being educated. Because there are so many hours spent on teacher education, so much resources spent on teacher education. But I think all of us in this room know that that amount of teacher training has not materialized in actual transformation of our education system or in improving the quality of our teachers or our teaching learning context. I think we need to acknowledge this as well. So there's something we are doing wrong, something that we are doing absolutely wrong. And I think we all, when we look at education and we try to fix education, we all cotton on to the easiest thing of capacity building, CPD, and pour this into our teachers without really looking at how this actually materializes in reality in the context in which they are working, and because we are duplicating each other's work without really talking to each other. So I must reiterate that Sactd as the regional center cannot be responsible for the national CPD of Sri Lanka. That is a national responsibility which must be undertaken with the leadership of the ministry in collaboration with all the partners. Certainly Sactd can develop a CPD framework for the region, can carry that out regionally, and as part of that region, we will be beneficiaries of that. But the national framework for our teachers in Sri Lanka and carrying out the teacher education for Sri Lankan teachers is the responsibility of the ministry and must be led by the ministry. Because otherwise, I know what's going to happen, and this is what led to us, I think, almost losing category 2 status, is that Sactd focuses only on Sri Lanka, because that's the easiest thing to do. This is what you have changed now, and I think we have to make sure we do not lose sight of this. Because currently the ministry is also undertaking massive transformations and massive policy changes when it comes to education, teacher education, or the curriculum, teacher educators training, all of these factors. And it is extremely essential that the different parts or the different agencies involved in this work together and work collectively. So I would really urge you to keep sight on that. You are a regional center. Your responsibility is coming up with regional policies, regional programs, and that we will fully support and participate in as part of the region. But a distinction needs to be made between what Sactd does regionally and what we do nationally. While of course we learn from each other, we work from each other, but the national teacher education, CPD, all of that must remain primarily under the Ministry of Education. So once again, I want to thank you all for the tremendous work you've done in the past 1.5 years in getting us to this point where Sactd has become a thriving organization with huge potential, a potential that we really need to unlock, and I hope we can continue to do that. I would like to congratulate Professor Lakshman Samaranayaka for his tremendous support. This honor is truly well deserved, and it's an honor for me to be here and to be able to present this to you. I thank you for your commitment, for your generosity, and for not forgetting your origins, and for having imbibed that responsibility that comes with being a recipient of our wonderful education system and our heritage of free education. That spirit is something that we need to protect and make sure is transmitted through whatever reforms we undertake in our education system. So to have inspiring figures such as you part of our education system at this moment in time in particular, I think is extremely valuable and extremely useful. So congratulations, Professor, and thank you, and I look forward to working with you in the broader education transformation also that we are undertaking currently. So I would also like to thank UNESCO, Manisha, for her the hard work you put in for making sure that this goes on, Sri Lanka UNESCO Commission, to the Ministry of Education, our Secretary, and our regional partners for their support for this initiative, and to Sactd and its leadership and its staff for their dedication. Let today's signing mark not only a continuation of a very productive and important partnership, but the strengthening of our regional commitment to the development of our human resource, which is, I think, one of our most valuable resources. I hope that Sactd will transform itself to be one that is truly recognized as a center that delivers quality over quantity and that delivers something that is really meaningful and transformative throughout the region. Thank you very much.
மேலதிக செய்திகளுக்காக எமது யூடியூப் தளத்தை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் செய்யுங்கள்.